When a man distances himself and ignores you, just do this. Let me tell you something. When a man pulls away, when he starts acting different, when he goes silent like a ghost in the night, you don't chase him. You don't beg. You don't shrink yourself trying to make sense of his confusion. No, you stand up taller. You fix your crown. You remember exactly who you are. See, when a man starts distancing himself, most women panic. They think, what did I do wrong? They go into fix-it mode, thinking if they change themselves, adjust their tone, lower their expectations, then maybe, just maybe, he'll come back. But that's not what a queen does. A queen doesn't chase a man who forgets her worth. She reminds him with her silence. Let's talk about this truth right here. Silence is power. Don't chase, elevate. When a man distances himself and starts ignoring you, the natural urge, especially when you love hard, is to fix it, to reach out, to text first, to ask what went wrong, to overthink every little moment like it was your fault. But let me tell you something real. Chasing a man who pulls away is one of the fastest ways to lose yourself. When someone distances themselves from you, that's not a signal to lower your standards. That's your cue to rise. That's your reminder that the person pulling away doesn't define your value. They reveal it. You are not meant to beg for attention. You are not meant to prove your worth to someone who can't see it on their own. Silence, in this case, isn't weakness. It's your strength. It's your self-respect. It's your boundary. See, when you stay quiet in the face of someone else's distance, it does two things. It protects your peace and it speaks volumes. Your silence tells them, I'm not here to compete with your confusion. Your silence says, I don't chase, I attract. And that's exactly what happens when you pull your energy back. The people who were taking you for granted start to notice what life feels like without your presence. Let's be clear, silence doesn't mean you're weak. It means you're wise. It means you've grown enough to know that your time, energy, and love are too expensive to be wasted on someone who doesn't appreciate them. And while you're not talking, you're building. You're glowing up. You're working on yourself, leveling up your spirit, your mindset, your goals. You're becoming so focused on your growth that the noise of someone else's absence becomes background static. And here's the twist. When you elevate, you either inspire them to rise with you or you outgrow them altogether. But either way, you win. Because you chose you. You didn't fold. You didn't break. You didn't lower your vibration to chase after someone who walked away. You leveled up, and the right people always feel that shift. Now, does it hurt? Of course. You're human. You care. You had hopes. But don't confuse silence with pain. Sometimes silence is healing. Sometimes silence is how you reclaim your power without saying a single word. And in that stillness, you remember who you were before you ever felt like you had to earn someone's love. So the next time a man distances himself or goes quiet, don't lose yourself trying to get his attention. Don't shrink. Don't chase. Just breathe, stand tall, and elevate. Because queens don't run after confused kings. They build kingdoms so strong, the right one knows exactly where to find them. Let's talk about this second truth. His confusion is not your assignment, because you are not here to solve a man's emotional puzzles or carry the weight of his indecision. When a man pulls away, starts acting cold, or creates distance, too many women immediately think they must have done something wrong. They start asking, what can I fix? What did I say? How do I win him back? But sis, let's make something clear. You're not responsible for someone else's lack of clarity. If he's confused about his feelings, confused about where he stands, confused about what he wants, You don't need to step in and be his therapist, his savior, or his teacher. That's not love. That's emotional babysitting. And you weren't born for that. You were born to be loved, respected, and chosen without hesitation, not tolerated in someone's figure it out phase. A man's confusion can look a lot like mixed signals. One day he's present, affectionate, and engaged. The next he's cold, distant, and hard to reach. That kind of hot and cold behavior will have you questioning your worth, your actions, and even your sanity if you let it. And that's where the damage begins. Not because of who he is, but because of what you accept while he's unsure. You've got to know this. You don't chase love. You align with it. If he's confused, let him be confused. But don't join him in that confusion. Let him sort out his mess without pulling you into the middle of it. You're not his project. You're not his test run. And you're certainly not the woman who needs to convince him to love you. Real love shows up ready. It doesn't make you guess. It doesn't put you on hold. It doesn't have you questioning if you're enough. It knows what it wants. And it chooses you without stuttering. That's the kind of energy you deserve. That's the kind of love that honors your spirit. So when a man shows you he's unsure, that's your signal to step back, not to work harder. That's when you protect your peace. You let him take his space, but you don't let him drag you into emotional limbo. Because the moment you start doing the emotional heavy lifting for someone who won't even carry a conversation, you lose the very thing that makes you magnetic. Your peace, your confidence and your power. Remember this, a man who wants you won't be confused. A man who respects you won't go silent. And a man who's ready won't make you feel like you have to earn your place. You are not his assignment. You are the blessing he either recognizes or loses. That's the standard. Set it. Keep it. Lev it. Let's dive into this truth right here as let the distance be your direction. When someone starts pulling away from you, emotionally, physically, spiritually, that's not a moment for panic. That's a moment for perspective. See, distance doesn't always mean rejection. Sometimes it's divine redirection. We live in a world where people treat relationships like games. 1 minute they're all in, the next they're cold, silent, and distracted. And when that shift happens, you start feeling anxious, confused, maybe even desperate to fix it. But what if that space he created wasn't meant to hurt you? What if it was meant to guide you? What if that distance is your GPS rerouting you back to you? Here's what I know: when someone creates space, you don't fill it with fear. You fill it with focus. You stop asking why they left and start asking what you're learning. Because that space, that silence, is sacred. That's where growth is born. That's where clarity shows up. That's where you stop trying to control people and start controlling your peace. When a man distances himself, your first instinct might be to go after him. But growth says, no, go after you. Get your energy back. Take that time to reflect, reset, and rebuild. Learn what you've been tolerating, where you've been shrinking, and what you truly want in a partner. Because chasing a man who isn't choosing you only delays the one who will. Sometimes distance is God's protection in disguise. Maybe you didn't see the red flags. Maybe you were so caught up in the potential that you ignored the pattern. So now you've been given the gift of space to think clearly, to feel deeply, to stop asking, why is he doing this? And start asking, why am I accepting this? Let that distance turn into direction. Let it push you into your purpose. Let it lead you back to your peace. You don't need to close the gap between you and someone who doesn't see your worth. You need to close the gap between who you've been and who you're becoming. And when you start moving in the direction of healing, wholeness, and self-respect, that same man who left you in confusion might try to circle back. But by then, you'll be too far ahead, mentally, emotionally, spiritually, for him to catch up. That's the beauty of growth. That's the reward of not chasing, but choosing yourself. So don't fear the distance. Use it. Don't resent the space. Rise in it. Because the farther you walk into your purpose, the clearer it becomes who belongs in your life and who is just passing through to teach you something. And when that clarity hits, you won't need to chase anything again, because what's meant for you will never run from you. Let's talk about this last truth. The right man will never leave you guessing. See, love, real love, doesn't play hide and seek with your heart. It doesn't leave you staring at your phone, wondering what you did wrong. It doesn't come in waves of attention followed by oceans of silence. No, real love shows up every day with clarity, with consistency, with care. If a man is leaving you confused, unsure, anxious, or constantly questioning where you stand, then baby, that's not your man. Because the man who is truly for you will move with intention. He won't ghost you. He won't go missing for days and come back like nothing happened. He won't feed you crumbs and expect you to feel full. He'll give you peace, not puzzles. Women have been taught for too long that mixed signals mean try harder. That if he pulls away, you should pull closer. But that only leads to burnout, to heartbreak, to emotional exhaustion. The truth is, if someone really values you, they won't risk losing you by leaving you in limbo. The right man doesn't need to be chased, decoded, or convinced. He knows what he wants. And when he sees you, he knows you're what he wants. He won't play with your time. He won't play with your feelings. He'll step up, not step back. He'll make you feel chosen, not tolerated. And let me say this clearly, love should not feel like guessing. It should feel like home. You should feel safe, seen, supported. Not like you're in a constant audition for someone who doesn't even know the role you were born to play. That's not love. That's emotional roulette. So when a man leaves you guessing, let him go. Don't fill in the silence with fantasy. Don't write his story with hope when his actions are writing a completely different chapter. Pay attention to consistency. Words might lie, but actions will always tell the truth. And if he can go days without speaking to you, don't fool yourself into thinking you're a priority. You deserve a love that doesn't confuse you. A love that shows up in the daylight, not just in late night texts. You deserve someone who picks you with confidence, not convenience. Someone who communicates with honesty, not silence. So the next time you find yourself wondering, what are we? Take that question as your answer. Because the right one won't make you wonder. He'll make it known. And until that man shows up, you keep loving yourself loud, keep standing tall, and keep your standards high. Because when you stop entertaining confusion, you make room for clarity. And when you stop settling for maybes, you open the door for someone who says, I choose you. Every single day. Here's the truth you need to carry with you air. When a man distances himself and starts ignoring you, that's not the time to shrink. It's the time to stand tall. It's not the moment to chase love, explain yourself, or beg for clarity. It's the moment to pause, breathe, and remember who you are. You are not defined by who walks away. You are defined by how you rise after they do. And the woman who chooses herself, who protects her peace, who refuses to beg for breadcrumbs, that woman becomes unstoppable. Let his distance show you direction. Let his silence show you strength. Let his absence be the very thing that reminds you of your value. Because the man who's meant for you, he won't confuse you. He won't leave you wondering. He'll recognize your worth and treat it like treasure, not an option. So protect your heart, keep your standards high, and never forget the right one won't run, the right one won't leave, and the right one will never make you question your place in his life. Until then, stay focused, stay glowing, and never lower your crown for someone who wasn't strong enough to carry your love.